In this video, what we'll be doing is breaking down one of my clients' fitness sales calls. Now, why this is important is because listening to sales calls is one of the best ways to improve your sales abilities. Because you're actually listening to real conversations, you're not just listening to theory. So you can see how it actually fits into a real life scenario. Because if you're making the same mistakes that my client is in this sales call, then you're losing out on sales. So what I do as somebody who myself has closed over $6 million in sales myself, but also have trained hundreds of people to be the best person on their sales team, closing 10, 20, 30,000 plus. I go through and I show exactly how to use the right questions, better tonality to actually get people to open up more so we can get this sale and we don't make the same mistakes. So what I want you to do is pay attention because a lot of what I go over in the sales conversation is going to be applicable to any type of sales scenario. So take the lessons from this call review and apply it to your own sales calls. And then if you have any particular questions, go ahead, leave them in the comments. Make sure you go ahead, you leave a like, and then let's dive on into it. Alrighty, let's go ahead. Let's dive into this call. We'll just go ahead and we'll start from the very top.
Hello.
Hello, Don.
Yes.
Hey, Donna. This is Coach from Good Press. How are you?
Hi, I'm good.
Okay. This is a bad time.
Yeah. We scheduled it at 11 o'clock my time, but that's okay.
Was it 11 o'clock your time?
Yeah, that's okay.
No, we said 2 p.m. your local time and then 11 my local time.
Oh.
That's what I was trying to say. Yeah.
Oh, okay,
yeah,
okay.
Sorry
No problem.
about
No, we're good.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll forgive you this time. So it's, especially at the beginning, you can just joke around with them a little bit just to get them to loosen up, especially at the beginning of the conversation. They tend to be a little bit more tense. They understand it's more of like a sales call. So something you could do. And also people who tend to like joke around, not take it as seriously, it just subtly also like raises your status.
So as far as that goes, though, looks like you just scheduled a quick call here today. And so for you, was there, now just to make sure we're on the same page, was there anything specific you were kind of hoping to get out of the call today?
Now, to start off the conversation, I would probably want to get buy-in that we're here for the same reason. So it looked like you booked in about possibly getting some help, getting some help like losing weight or like, dropping, like whatever the advert or whatever it said was. Is that right? Oh, yeah, that's right. So that way you can get a little bit more buy-in on like why they're here.
I'm not really sure what the call's about. I mean, I know.
Yeah. So then like it'll get that out of the way. They're like, oh yeah, I'm here to get some help. You're like losing weight. Okay, cool. And was there any type of help you're actually like looking for specifically? Then you can go into it. I'll tend to like, okay, like it looks like you booked in about possibly, getting some outside help so you could lose or drop some weight. Is that right? Okay, and just maybe so I have a better understanding. What about what you saw that made you want to go ahead and book in the call today? Okay. How do you mean? Okay, no, that makes sense. And as far as any potential help would go, do you know what type of help you're actually looking for? So then I'll leave that question a couple questions in so I actually get a real answer out of it so I have more direction for the conversation.
I purchased the supplement and I've been taking it every day. Mm-hmm. So what's what was the purpose of this? I'm kind of naive about it.
Well, yeah. So as far as it goes, because I know that you purchased Fit Presso, but aside from that, we're basically specialized around weight loss and weight management.
Right, yeah.
These calls just come with the product, and basically, because the industry can be kind of hard to navigate. There's a lot of things out there. So what we try to do is we help people put together actual like treatment plans that are tailored to you and your situation, like specific to you in a sense. So the way these calls kind of work is we just dive into your goals and see how things are going with you and what you're doing now, what you've tried in the past to achieve them, and just really where you want to be, and then we can see if there's any way we may be able to help further if appropriate.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's not bad. I would something to just always be careful of, just in any sales conversation, is ambiguous language. Yeah, like what we try to do. Okay, in a sense, we do this. Like the ambiguous language is just going to seed a bit of doubt in her mind that doesn't really need to be there. Just take those words out. So what we do, rather than what we try to do, or how we help is this, instead of in a sense what we do is this. So just little simple tweaks, but you can even like, just make that a little bit more concise. Well, you know how, especially when we're talking about like, people losing weight and everything you can find online, like, people can get lost and just have trouble like finding what actually works for them. So what we do is we help people like that find create a tailored, fitness program for them. So that way they can drop the weight quick, but also make sure they can actually keep it off. Does that make sense? Oh, yeah, it does. And really the first part of this call is pretty basic. It's more just for, us to understand kind of like where you're at now as far as like your fitness journey and, really the weight you're at versus like where you're wanting to be, just to see what that gap looks like, just to see if, because there's some people, there's not much we can do for. You know what I mean by that, right? Oh, yeah, for sure. And I should start off by asking, and then you just go right into your next question. You don't want them to then like take control of the conversation at that point, because what can happen sometimes is if we just like let them go off, they'll just try to like info dump on you. So it's just something to be careful of.
Okay. Yeah, it does. Yeah, I go to the gym 3 days a week, usually Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Actually.
See, like because we are a little bit passive at that point, she just starts info dumping. And the reason why we don't want this, we want this information. We just want it at the back of our questions. Why? There's two big reasons. Number one is if I'm asking the questions, I'm directing the conversation, I'm gaining authority throughout the conversation. Okay. Now, this is going to be more important later on in the call, but it needs to start at the very beginning of the call. Because if we're passive at the beginning and then later in, like we're trying to like shift their beliefs or overcome concerns, and now we're just like all of a sudden like way more assertive, like we kind of break the trust that we built, because like now we're somebody else. So it starts at the beginning of the conversation, okay? And it gets them in the sense of like you're taking control, you're really being able to guide them in the situation. The second big thing as well is if it's at the back of your question, you're able to probe where you need to probe and dig deeper where you need to dig deeper. Oftentimes, if they're scattershotting, like they're just telling you everything, they're going to just maybe they're not going to dive into the amount of detail that we're needing. And if they give us like 10 things to probe on, it's going to be hard to just like really pick and choose which are the best things to really get them to open up about. So if you're able to more direct the conversation, it just makes it a lot easier for you. And it just makes it to where they get in the rhythm of like, oh, like they're asking questions, so I just answer the questions rather than them just trying to take control of the conversation.
I just got back from it.
Mm-hmm.
And almost 10 years ago, I had a surgical sleeve done. I lost 80 pounds, and yeah, and I've kept it off. I had probably, I go up and down like maybe 10, 15 pounds within that 10 years.
How come that kind of happens?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I don't know. I go to my, I guess, doctor every year to see how my blood work's going, and I take supplements, and she's very happy with my progress, because she said mostly a lot of people gain their weight back plus some,
Okay.
After the surgery.
After the surgery, yeah, and I even know people that have done it.
Right.
How long?
So then in terms for you, as far as like in your weight loss journey, is there any type of help you're actually like looking for? Or you can ask, is there a specific weight you're trying to get to, or a specific amount you're trying to lose, or what's going on? What made you want to go and book in this call today? Right. So we just we want to take back control of this conversation, and like that was a good opportunity to, and just get a direction of where we're actually going. Like what is her overarching goal or a problem that she has?
How long has it been since her surgery?
Almost 10 years.
So like now we're probing in on like her surgery, which again, it's interesting information. Like it's interesting and it's part of her weight loss journey, but is it like it's 10 years ago? Is it relevant to her weight loss right at this second? Which is why she hopped on the call. So it might come up later, but I would want to get more direction before moving forward right now, rather than just diving more into like her surgery 10 years ago.
Almost 10 years. Oh, wow. Okay, so you have kept off for a very long time. Nice.
Yes, I did. And
So,
I still have like probably, I still would like to lose the 15 pounds.
Okay. So you've got that last 15 to lose. And so as far as that goes, I mean, is it that you're like a little bit stuck at that area, not able to get it off, or what's kind of going on?
No, I got it off during the process of after the surgery. Your body, I went to extensive training, about this, and your body knows when to stop losing weight. And it stopped.
It goes into starvation mode,
And it stopped. I was losing pretty nicely, maybe a couple of pounds a week or whatever, and which is the,
so
healthier.
When was this?
After my surgery.
So this was
10 years ago. Yeah. And so as the years go on, it gets harder and harder. That's why a lot of people gain their weight back plus some. So people say
harder, as in like you mean like metabolism wise or something like that? Is that what you're saying?
No, I think my metabolism.
So like what's happening right now? So you're probing on certain things, like you're asking questions, but we're assuming, we're kind of just giving her answers. And each time she's just telling us no, which is like breaking the rapport. And on a subtle level, it's like devaluing your status. Because if you notice, and it's super subtle, like what she also did there is like, oh, I've done extensive like research or whatever it is on this, and this. And she's telling you how it works, right? And then like now you're guessing. And she goes, no, it's not that. It's this, or no, not that. It's this. So instead of assuming, how do you mean by it gets harder and harder? Or what causes it to get harder and harder? But for you, have you noticed it getting harder? Because she said it was more broad. Yeah, for most people, it gets harder. Well, for you, has it gotten harder? What's going on? Right? Instead of like us just assuming, what do you mean, like your metabolism or whatnot? So, and what could be happening is we're trying to put her in a box of a problem that you're comfortable solving, rather than just having the conversation you're having. So don't have the conversation you want to have. Actually have the conversation you're having. Like talk to this person, what they feel like it is. So that way you can start to pull out what their specific problems are, rather than just assuming. Because right now we've assumed a couple times and we're just getting her to tell us no. And then she's subtly taking status about telling you about all the like the research and things she's done.
Looks pretty good. It's just, and I don't really eat that much because my stomach is small.
Oh,
it's shaped like a banana. Actually, that's the surgery that.
I've heard of it.
Yeah, they take your stomach out and they cut it.
Okay.
So it helps you not to eat as much. So I eat like every.
Right now, what's kind of your, sorry to cut you off, but what is your kind of, you said you're exercising 3 times a week, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then.
And if you notice, like the past couple times, like you've asked this specific question, like she's a little bit irritated. Because it either sounds like we're not listening, or like we're repeating ourselves, like she's going over the same thing. So again, these are very subtle things that's just causing a bit of a disconnect right now, as far as like, her telling us no, her gaining status, and then like we're asking questions where she got irritated. The last one that she got irritated is like when was this? And she goes, 10 years ago at the surgery, right? You could tell in her voice, she's just slightly, not like crazy over the top, but she's just slightly irked that you asked a couple of these questions, because it sounds like you're not listening.
What's kind of your daily nutrition look like?
Lots of protein, some carbs.
And right now we're going into like what her daily routine is and things like that, which is all, it's good information to have, but it doesn't really make too much sense if we don't really know what the problem is and how long it's been. Now we got the point where she said she's wanting to lose the last 15 pounds. How long has she been trying to lose this 15 pounds? Like that should be the big thing that we're trying to uncover. Like how long has it been? And what has she been doing specifically to try to lose these last 15 pounds? Because it's going to shape the rest of the conversation. Because if it's been like, oh, like I just gained this 15 pounds this last, 3 months, and now I'm trying to get it off, versus I've had this for 5 years, it's a very wildly different conversation. So if we're walking into this a little bit blind, we don't know the time frame. A lot of it is just we're going to assume, and we don't have the time frame to really shape the problem that we need to dig into what her pain is.
And vegetables and fruits.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I might like snack on something crunchy, but usually at night I try not to, but sometimes I do.
How do you mean by that? Like snack on something crunchy?
I don't know, pretzels, chips.
I love chips.
Yeah, I know, me too.
Okay.
But like I said, it's not a lot. It's not a lot. It's just I have to have it sometimes.
So
I don't have to have it, but
so it's not like 5 bags like every hour.
No, God, I would throw up if I ate that much.
Okay.
Yeah, my stomach
okay.
my stomach would tell me to stop eating, and it has.
Oh, got it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it sounds like that's good that you don't have that much of an appetite, right? I'm sure that helps keep the weight off for sure. So then, what about like how often you may be eating at home versus like eating out, if at all?
I mainly it's half and half. I do eat out, but I do cook at home.
What does that typically look like when you go out?
It's usually.
So right now, it seems like we're kind of like searching for a particular problem, like with her routine, rather than just diving into, okay, well, how long has it been? What have you been doing about actually trying to lose that extra 15 pounds? And what do you feel like might be missing in your current like weight loss routine that's just causing you to keep on that weight? Right? So then we can just get it from her perspective. And then from there, we can start to like delve into her specific like day to day and start to build more of a gap there. But it should be shaped by what the actual problem is, right? Rather than like right now, it seems like we're kind of like poking and prodding around, like searching, and just hopefully like something like sticks out to us.
I like seafood, so I usually get like seafood, a vegetable or whatever. I stay away from. I might eat maybe like if they give hot rolls or whatever in the beginning, I might eat like a half of one, before the meal comes or whatever. But I know that if I eat too much of that, I'm not going to be able to eat my meal. So I've learned through the years what to eat, and how to eat it.
I see. So what about like liquids? You drinking whiskey all day like me, or like what are you drinking?
I don't drink whiskey, no. Only on the weekends.
And like the humor is good. Like you're keeping the conversation light. But I would just have this, diving into this just a bit later in the conversation where it would make more sense.
When I go out every now and then, but I drink a lot of water.
Yeah. Okay.
Like flavored water. Yeah. So.
You smoking? How many cigars are you smoking every 30 minutes?
No, I don't do any of that.
Okay. Any kind of like vices or anything? Like me, I'm a big like sweets kind of guy. Like, is it like any kind of like ice creams? I know you mentioned crunchy stuff.
Yeah, I mean every now and then. Yeah, every now and then I'll have an ice cream or a cookie or whatever, but it's not every day.
Okay. What about you mentioned you're exercising 3 times a week, right?
Mhm.
What does that typically look like?
Well, I go to the gym and I'm there for about an hour. I do the elliptical for the first 15 minutes, and then I run down the machines, like the arms and then the legs.
Okay. And so then as far as that goes, what do you feel like maybe you're doing or like not doing, or that's causing you not to be able to lose this 15 pounds consistently and keep it off?
Which is a good question. Now we're missing the context of how long it's been, which again will just give you a lot more understanding of where the problem might be. But it's a good question. The problem is like, okay, we just got all this information here. Like now, how are we going to use it? Now, something you can do specifically like in fitness sales is like, it's called like faster. Okay. So we can get like kind of like an understanding of like how much, like fast food, alcohol, stimulants, tobacco, entertainment, recreational, like how much they're spending on all these things that might be taking them away from their goals, right? How much are they spending? And would they be willing to reallocate some of that to get to their goals quicker? And why would they? Now, again, I would want to have that later on in the conversation, but you can dive into like, what is she doing? Like, for entertainment, recreational, like especially with women, you can talk about like upkeep as far as their looks or anything like that, doing their hair, nails, whatever it is. And would they be willing to reallocate the funds they're spending on that to their fitness to get to their goals quicker? Yes. Why would you though? And this is a good way to start to pre-handle like the money objection, right? Because especially in fitness, money is going to be one of the biggest things you run into because you are telling people to stop doing what they like, be uncomfortable, and they pay you money to do so. Like they don't make money back, right? So it's a non-ROI offer. So with fitness, I'd always make sure to try to pre-handle money by getting an understand of like faster, like what are they actually spending that's taken away from their goals, and would they be willing to reallocate that to get to their goals quicker? Okay, but I would ask that later. But right now, we're where we should be. Now we're a little bit, like we're 8 minutes in, and we're just now asking this question. We should have probably been able to ask this question 5 minutes ago, just so we can get to the problem a lot quicker, start opening the gap a lot faster, and get to the point where it's like we can get the discovery done, get the presentation done, and we have more leeway at the end of the call to, so we're not running up on time. Because what will happen is if the sales conversation like just goes longer, it just induces more think about it objections, because it's just the longer it takes, it's harder for people to carry high emotions as far as them looking to change the longer the conversation goes. So I want to make sure like my discovery is not any more than like 20, 25 minutes at most. My presentation's like 5 minutes, maybe 7. If I'm feeling like I really need to explain things, and then I'm presenting by like minute 30.
Well, I know a lot of it probably has to do with my age, and the older you get, the harder it is to lose.
Oh, how do you mean?
So,
do you feel like it's possible to lose though?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So what do you feel like maybe you're doing or like not doing that's kind of causing you not to lose this weight consistently?
So that's good. She tried to blame an outside. You got her to buy in, okay, like it's possible, and then re-asked it. Typically, I'm going to want to just, like, how do you mean? I use like more often a comparative frame, which is, well, can I share perspective? Yes. It's like, yeah, most of the people we work with, they're in their 50s, 60s, sometimes even 70s, like, and they're able to drop 20, 30, even 40 pounds sometimes. So, I mean, what do you feel like they might be doing, or you might be missing in the way that you're going about like actually losing this weight that's causing you not to be able to drop this last 15 pounds, right? So it's like I use more of like a comparative frame that, okay, other people are doing this. What do you feel like you're missing that's not allowing you to do this? Rather than just like getting her to say like, yes, it's possible, which is fine, but like showing her like, okay, it's doable and other people are doing it. Like it gets her, oftentimes it just gets more buy-in from them.
I have no idea.
Is that
well, if you really thought about it, like don't let them off the hook. Oh, well, I don't know. Well, if you really thought about it.
And that sometimes is the case, right? Because could that be the problem, right? That we don't know. And because our biggest problem is the one we don't really know that we have, right? Because we can't address it.
Would you agree?
So, and as far as it goes, right, when I typically see these kind of cases, when someone maybe isn't doing the craziest things, or they're eating a okay diet, like they're eating a fine diet, but they're still not losing weight, what happens is that maybe they're doing the right practices, but that was what they were doing before, but their body's different, right? Your body changes as you get older, so it's like you're using the same fuel for a different car in a sense.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying, kind of? So,
yeah, I know sometimes you have to shock your system, in order for it to start building up, you know what I mean? You have to change your eating habits or whatever just to shock your system.
To something specific to you now, because you're different than you were like 10 years ago, right? So for you though, I mean, but I love talking and helping people like you though, who realize that maybe they need to make some small changes, to see some different results, because we could do the same thing all day for 24 hours, right? But if it's maybe not the right thing, we're not necessarily going to see any results versus doing the right thing for 1 hour a day, right? And then there's the other people who they just want to only rely on a supplement for the rest of their life, So can I ask for you though, losing this
Okay, so we just talked at her for a long period of time and we didn't really check in for buy-in. Okay? So the old saying, telling is not selling. Okay? So everything I say is absolute garbage. Everything she says is gospel. Okay? So how can I get her to start moving my way and get her to buy into the fact of what I'm saying? Okay? So it's just how do I turn that into an actual question instead of just a statement? So like you were saying before, because if you put the same fuel but it's a different car, what type of results do you tend to get? Let her answer. Oh yeah, I know you don't get as good results and blah blah blah. I know you need to shock your system. So do you see that possibly being the case for you? How do you see that being the case for you though? Okay. And what do you feel like that might actually be leading to in your day to day, not being able to lose this weight? Now we're into the problem. So we got the cause of the problem, which is she can't shock her system or whatever it is. But again, I need to get her to buy into it. Now I'm going, okay, what is this actually leading to for you? What is this problem causing? And then from there, you can ask more of personal impacts and you can dive deeper. Also, a big thing as well is there's no need to minimize what you do or what she needs to do to get a change. Oh, I love working with people who know they just need to make small changes. Well, guess what? Small changes often, you're not going to have to pay that much for them. So if you start to minimize the actual problem, you're just basically telling her it's not as bad. Oh yeah, you just need to make some small tweaks. It's not that bad. Super simple. Right? Then what we need to be doing is we need to be expanding that. Okay? We don't want to just minimize what we're doing because what did that really do for you? All it did is just minimize the problem in her mind of what she needs to change. Okay? So just a couple things to be aware of, not to minimize the actual problem. And then number 2 is how do I change the statements I'm making into questions and get her to buy into it? Or even if I'm making statements, let's say I say the exact same thing, just at the end of it, would you agree? How do you see this being the case for you? Right? Get her to expand on it more rather than just planting it and then just moving on to your next question. Because it's a good frame and she seems like she was buying into it a bit, but we didn't get complete buy-in of how it specifically affects her, how that affects her situation right now.
Last 15, that is the amount that you were looking to lose, right? It's just that last 15?
Yeah. I'll be happy with the 10, but I'm gonna get as low as I was, before.
Well, if we settle for the 10, we're gonna get the 10, right? So, looks like you're looking to lose 15. So then,
so again, right back to the point, we just straight up told her, oh well, if we aim for the 10, we'll get the 10. So you're looking to get 15, right? No, we need to get her buy-in. It's yeah, you could go that way. Can I share perspective? If you aim for the least, right? What type of results do you tend to get? Oh, the least. Yeah. I don't want to assume, but you're not one of those type of people who are just looking to get the least results, are you? Okay, so if 15 is the goal, let's make that the goal. Because for you, is that the ideal weight you're trying to lose, or is that just more that first type of benchmark? Because then I want to see if I can't expand it. But again, I want to get more her buy-in that, okay, if we aim for 10, we'll get the 10, because that's true. But if I'm saying it, I'm telling her, then again, I'm not getting her buy-in. I'm just hoping she's taking everything I say, hook, line, and sinker. Now, with the way that we've kind of broken rapport, especially in the beginning of the conversation, I assume that's not going to be the case. Okay. So we just need to, and this will also allow you to gain more authority as well. If we, we shift these beliefs, but we need to get her to buy into it. We need her to be like, okay, yes, you'll get the least. No, I'm not the type of person who just shoots for the least. I want to get like the 15 or the 20, 30, see if we can expand the gap. But we need to get her buy-in rather than us just like speaking at her.
For you, I mean, it's because it's really not a lot of weight. Like, how come losing this 15 is so important to you?
It's important to me because, I mean, everybody says how nice I look, how well I look, and I don't know. I think I would feel much better if I lost 10 or 15 more pounds.
Oh, okay. Like, like in what way though? Because everyone's different, right?
In what way? Just how my clothes feel, how I just feel internally,
Okay.
Yeah, and she tried to minimize, like, oh, well, everyone tells me how great, like, I am, right? Like, if I get something like that, I'll be like, okay, so you're looking to go from, like, good to get to that level of great, right? Like, I put, like, a good to great frame on them. Like, oh, yeah, for sure. And then you can always go, have you ever heard the phrase, like, good is the enemy of great? Because good is comfortable, right? So, and then from there, like, just going on, like, what? So how do you mean, like, you would feel better? Just something subtle you can do, because oftentimes, because that, it'll be a pattern oftentimes, is they'll try to, like, minimize, or they'll, like, go to a third party and say, like, oh, well, other people don't see this problem. Okay, so they'll more, like, shield themselves, especially if somebody who's, like, came a long way, which it sounds like she has. Like, she dropped, like, 80 plus pounds, like, 10 years ago, but then, well, we don't know how it's been since, but she just needs to drop that last 15 pounds. So she might want to justify to herself, like, how far she's come, but that doesn't help her to lose that extra 15 pounds that she needs to. Just something to keep in mind.
And so kind of tell me in your own words, I mean, what are kind of maybe some of the negative side effects of kind of having this extra weight on in you?
Side effects is, that's not, I'd be careful of using words like that. Right? Like, well, what do you mean? Like, you'd feel better? Like, I don't know. Like, I'd just be feeling better. Blah blah blah. Well, like, in what way? Like, specifically, if you really thought about it, like, what ways do you feel like you might be feeling better? Or how do you feel like it shows up in your day-to-day life? I guess having this extra 15 pounds that you don't want. Right? Like, how do you feel like it's showing up, rather than, like, what are the side effects? Like, side effects is, like, extremely negative. How it's showing up is pretty neutral, which will just, again, if somebody is a little bit more guarded, which it seems like, she's being open, but she's guarded about her problem. Okay? So if she's a little bit more guarded about her problem, something more neutral right here will just allow her to open up better.
Day to day.
No, I wouldn't say there's side effects.
Not side effects. Yeah, that's a weird way of putting it, but
I don't know. I don't know. I'm still considered, like, if you check my BMI, I hate the BMI stuff. Mm-hmm. They say I'm still overweight, but I don't know.
Okay. I mean, it sounds like things are going fairly well then. Why even kind of look at losing the weight then?
I don't know.
Well, you tell me. I don't know, right?
I don't know.
Okay, so for you though,
starve myself.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we don't want to do that, right?
It doesn't seem like she understood what you're asking.
No.
So then, for you though, what was it kind of like recently though that shifted? Because, I mean, it sounds like what you're doing is going fairly well. I mean, what was it kind of recently that shifted, where you wanted to maybe start getting some help and, like, maybe switching things up or
well, I'm always looking. Yeah, I'm always looking for.
Okay.
Not so much an easy fix, but to help along with my process.
Of course.
Why
not look for an easy fix though? Because most people do that.
I know. Well, a lot of times that doesn't work. So
I would ask her, well, like, what causes her to always be looking? Right? If it's not that big of a problem, like what would cause somebody to always be looking? So again, we still really need to uncover like what the actual problem is and how long it's been going on. Like that's still a big like area, like a big gap. If it's like we don't even know how long this has been going on for.
And sometimes if it does work, then if you get off of it, you gain the weight back. So.
Oh, yeah, exactly, right?
Yeah.
So, and I'm glad I don't have to convince you of that, because you'd be surprised, right?
Right.
So for you though, okay, so you're looking to lose this 15, and then once you lose that, how much will you be?
Well, I'm 160 now. So it'll be like 140 something, maybe 150. I don't know.
140, 150. Well, I mean, I don't know. You tell me. Is it going to be 140 or 150?
I mean, at this point, we can just do the math for her. Oh, so if we're looking to lose 15, like we're 160 right now, we'd be at like 145. Is that right? Right? Instead of, because like that, because if you can just, if you're like, oh, you tell me, it can come across like a bit of like a tactic in a way. Just something to be careful of.
Well, the 50 would be 10 pounds, so it'd be 145. That would be.
Got it.
That would be a nice, I could see I can see the definition. I've been going to the gym religiously since January. I've been through the years. I've just been going off and on,
Right.
and then I would go and then I would stop for a few months and go again. But religiously, I've been going since January, and I can see, like my arms and my upper body or whatever, and I do a lot of leg. Yeah.
That's good. So what's coming up for you right now that would even have you wanting to get down to 145?
Much better.
Like get her on point. Now she's kind of going off into the weeds about how she just feels better. She can see definition, blah blah blah. Which again, it's interesting information, but it's not important to like the conversation we're having right now.
I actually do. I have weak knees. And even going up and down the steps, I have no problem with now because of leg exercises I've been doing at the gym.
Okay. So this kind of current routine you've been on though to lose this 15. How much weight have you lost like in the last like 2 or so months with your current routine?
Why are we choosing 2 or so months? It's very arbitrary. Okay. So again, this is why we need to understand like how long it's been going on for. But she said she's been going to the gym for the past it's August, so she's been going to the gym for the past like 8 months. Right? So you could I'm gonna assume she's at least had this weight problem for 8 months. So the more you can expand the time frame, like the more like pain there's gonna be, like the longer they've had this pain. So there's no need to shorten it like that.
A couple pounds here and there, nothing to really write home about.
Okay, like a couple pounds here and there. Like, what does that mean? It's kind of like going up and down, or what?
It kind of is. It kind of is like, and I know muscle weighs more than fat, so it could be that, But my eating habits have not really changed, although I do watch more. My carb intake, I try to eat a lot of the protein. I drink protein shakes. If I don't drink protein shakes after the gym, I eat protein, like chicken.
Okay. So it's
again like all interesting information, but really all I need to know is what she's doing right now isn't working. So then I need to understand like what she feels like the reason why it's not working, and then what is the actual problem of her losing, like why did she want to lose this 15 pounds? Her having this extra 15 pounds, like what type of impact is that having on her? What type of impact is it having on her day to day? What type of impact is it having on her personally? How does it make her feel? Whatever it is, like we need to get into her specific problems.
Sounds like you're just kind of a little bit confused because you're doing a lot of the right things, but this last 15 just won't drop?
Yeah, it just won't drop. Yeah.
Okay. And that's typically what most of our clients are the situation they're in, when they do come to us. But so for you, so you're kind of at this kind of stagnation point in a sense. what's kind of your ideal? I mean, how long would you like to lose this 15 pounds, and given the right practices, of course?
Ideal would be a couple months.
Couple months? Okay. Like how many months? Like 1, 2,
I'll
20?
say 2.
2. Okay, that's reasonable, right? Yeah, typically most of our clients see about like 8 or so pounds per month. You know, it's a healthy amount to lose. You don't want to go too crazy with the right practices, though, of course. But so you kind of want to go from stagnating to going to about like 8 or so pounds per month, yeah? It's like 2
Right.
months. Okay, so then for you, I mean, when was actually that, just so we can pinpoint when this started and why it kind of began, when was the last time you were at that kind of like 140-ish mark?
Oh, okay. Let me think. It's almost 10. This November, it'll be 10 years since I
so
had my surgery. So I'm going to say
Right.
probably 8 years ago.
Oh, wow.
8 years ago.
It kept creeping up.
Oof.
Creeping up, and then when I noticed that it was creeping up, then I, got on diets again, and because I didn't want
starved yourself.
I wouldn't say starve myself.
See, again, we're assuming what we don't need to. But again, when they had let a big pain point, like 8 years she's been dealing with this, and she's been trying to lose this weight and hasn't been able to keep it off. Like I would, like, oh yeah, that can definitely be trouble for sure. Like, you sound concerned, because like what that's gonna do in her mind is it's gonna amplify the pain. Like, this is the first time we've kind of gotten to like what the real pain is. Now it's our job we need to amplify it. Now, if we're more precise in our questioning and where we're taking the conversation, we're getting this 3 minutes into the conversation rather than 17 minutes. But now that we're here, now we just need to direct the conversation and dig deeper into what her actual pain is.
But
okay.
Yeah.
Most people do. You're smart then that you didn't do that. That just slows your metabolism.
It does. I know it does.
Okay, so then it was about that 8 years or so ago, and then what do you feel like initially, though, kind of like even before that? What do you feel like are maybe some of the not the word behaviors, it's a weird word, but like the behaviors that kind of got you to gaining the weight in the first place? Is it like under eating, then overeating? Is it some of our clients will say they're emotional eating? Was it any kind of binge eating? That was a problem for me back in the day. Was it maybe just not like paying attention enough, maybe not knowing the right foods to eat for your metabolism, maybe not holding yourselves accountable sometimes as you'd like? Like, what was it kind of for
the last two you just said.
The last two I said.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I cannot eat a lot at one time because my stomach won't allow it. And if I eat one extra bite, I throw up.
Oh,
so
wow. Okay.
I've learned now how much to eat. Yeah. I learned how much to eat. But my metabolism works a lot quicker than a lot of other people.
Something to keep in mind too, it's coming across like you're really trying to like build rapport with this person, and she's not really playing too much ball with you. Something to be careful of. It can come across like, a bit like needy in a way, that you're just really, really trying hard to connect with them and things on those lines, especially when they're like talking about their pain. Like, I don't want to be making like too many jokes, because I'm going to be pulling away from like what is actually going on. And I can alleviate that pain. I want to let them sit more in that pain rather than alleviate it.
Because of that, I eat like every 2 to 3 hours.
You eat every 2? Okay.
Because I'm hungry, because I don't eat much during at my meal. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And
I get full quicker.
Okay. That makes sense. And you mentioned the other part, the last other part that I mentioned about the accountability. What do you kind of mean by that?
Sometimes I just slack off and maybe eat too much junk food. Like at night. A lot of times at night, if I'm relaxing watching TV, I want a snack.
Right.
So I've been reading up on what healthy snacks to eat.
Sure.
And one of them, anything crunchy, one of them is cucumbers. Cucumbers are very good for you.
That sounds kind of brutal, though. I'm not gonna lie. While watching TV,
I like cucumbers, but
I like cucumbers too, but a bag of chips or something hits better for me.
Well, yeah. And when I say pretzels or chips, it's just a few, a handful. It's not like a whole bag.
Yeah.
I can't anyway.
Of course, yeah.
But where do you feel like that lack of accountability showing up for you, though? Right, so you're saying like, oh, like she hasn't had accountability, and sometimes like it'll be this and this and that. So it's like I just want to expand more on this problem, because like now we're on the actual problem, which is good. Okay, so we just need to expand on it, create more of a gap in her mind.
So I don't know really why. I don't know why. I guess it's I don't know why I'm having a hard time with losing weight.
And see, and because like we allowed her to waffle so much, then she just goes back to, well, I don't know why. Well, she just told you like 2 reasons. Like it could be her not paying attention to what she's eating, and she's not having a level of accountability. So we just need to make sure like we're just expanding on those. Or if we just allow her to waffle too much, especially with somebody like this who has like a little bit higher of like an ego, and she doesn't really want to admit as much of her problems, she's just going to like talk herself out of it. So we just need to make sure we're staying on top of the conversation.
I don't know.
Yeah. So then for you, I mean, since you don't really know, are you open to looking at different ways of doing things and different options so that you can break through this, so that you can have a sustainable way of losing weight,
yes,
so that you kind of can be in the know, so you can be in control, of what
right.
does and doesn't happen to your body.
Right.
Does that make sense? So
makes
for
sense.
you,
so again, we're talking at her. Just ask her why. She's like, yes, got buy-in, fantastic, high fives. Okay, now she took a step in our direction. Ask her why. Get her to dig deeper in the step she just took. Yes, I'm willing to look at other ways. Why are you? Oh, because I really want to lose this weight. What I'm doing isn't working, blah, 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 blah. So I need to get her to start telling herself more of like why she needs to change. Quit doing all the heavy lifting. Allow her to do a lot of the heavy lifting.
So walk me through, have you done, just so we don't fall in the same pitfalls when putting a plan for you, like what programs or plans, diets and stuff have you tried in the past?
Oh my God. Nutrisystem.
Sounds like a lot.
Yeah, a Nutrisystem.
What happened with that?
First of all, it's very expensive.
Okay.
I lost maybe.
How do you mean by expensive though?
5 pounds, maybe 5 to 7 pounds. I just lost interest in it. In their food, eating their foods.
Sounds like it got kind of boring or something.
It got boring. Yeah.
Now, again, we assumed and we were right. Now, the problem with that can be is if we would have asked her, she might have used different words rather than boring. Okay. Now, I want to use her words rather than my words, just because she's going to resonate more with the words that she uses. So then I can start using the words that she uses, and we can connect a lot better, because now I'm the person who speaks the way she speaks rather than getting her to like use my words. Now, she might have said boring. We don't know, but we don't want to like put the label on her or put the label on like what she was doing. We just want to ask, well, how do you mean? Like what ended up happening? Oh, like it just got a bit redundant. Maybe we should say redundant. I don't know. And it's like, oh, redundant? How so? Oh, well, this, and this. So now, like, I'm going to write down that word, and I'm going to make sure I use it in my presentation. And if I need to, like, use it again in the sales conversation. Okay? But we just need to make sure we're using her words, not our words.
Yeah, it was boring.
Okay. So it sounds like you'd like variety and something that works within your palate.
Yes, I've also done. Oh God, can't even think. My girlfriend, she does it. She sells it.
Okay.
Can't even think of it. I don't know. I've done Plexus. I don't know if you heard of that.
Okay.
Plexus?
It's Plexus. It's like supplements and drink. Plexux.
Oh, yeah.
XUS.
Plexus.
Well, it's a lot of supplements, a lot of powdered drinks, And it helps your immune system. It has a lot of good vitamins and stuff in the system. I'm not downing it. Mm-hmm. That's also expensive.
Expensive in what way?
And it sounds like you have to.
Like we just don't know what she means by that, because like what it sounds like is a money objection waiting to happen.
Kind of do those for the rest of your life, and you have to keep getting their stuff to make
Probably.
it work.
Yeah.
Probably. So she's not completely bought into your frame. Like again, like we're telling her rather than asking. How do you mean expensive?
The Nutrisystem do they like you buy the food from them and they deliver it to you or something?
Yes.
Yeah, so I mean, who can really afford to do that for the rest of their life, right?
Right.
Yeah, okay.
I've also done the keto diet, and I got very tired of that.
Okay, it sounds like that's similar.
So she's tried a bunch of diet systems, and it seems like she's run into the same issue. She gets bored of it, and then she moves on. But we need to talk to, like, what has she done in terms of coaching? Okay, because that's the issue where we need to really move the conversation to, and we can start pre-handling objections. Because she's had this problem for 8 years, and one of the problems that she feels like she has is she doesn't keep herself accountable enough. And she's never gotten coaching before, which from the sound of it, it doesn't sound like she has, but she might have. But we need to shift the conversation because she's tried all these diet plans. We know why they don't work. She gets bored of them, and then she feels like they're too expensive. Now let's shift to like, well, have you gotten any like expert help to really make sure like we create to create a custom diet plan for you, and hold you accountable to lose this weight, or what have you really done on that front? Like, and if she has, then you can understand like, okay, why didn't it work? But if she hasn't, why she hasn't? And if she hasn't ever before, and she's had this problem for 8 years, because this is 8 years of inaction as far as her getting an actual coach. So we're going to deal with an uphill battle. So I need to understand if she hasn't done it, why she hasn't done it, because there's going to be a belief. And I need to readdress that belief before I move on in the conversation. Because if she holds on to that belief throughout the rest of the conversation, I'm not going to get as, fruitful answers. And then at the end, once she knows the price, maybe when there's a bit more fear in her brain, it's going to be a lot harder to actually try to overcome that concern. So I want to flush it out right here and really address it.
It just got kind of boring. And you eat one pretzel, you fall out of ketosis.
Mhm.
Okay. Anything else?
I mean, don't let me wrong. I love eating protein, meat and stuff, but
of course.
I still like vegetables and the fruits and
of
stuff.
Course.
Well, they always say keto's not good for you anyway, so long term.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, who's doing keto when they're 80? I don't know anyone.
Yeah.
So then, for you, what else did you kind of try? Anything else?
Anything
else to close the time machine?
Yeah. Throw some at me. I can't even think. Probably I've done them.
Weight Watchers.
I've done Weight Watchers.
So again, now we're diving into like more of the same of like, and she already told you these things don't work. So if we're just uncovering like more things that she has tried, now we can talk about like where does that belief come from, where we know these diet systems don't work, but we keep on trying them rather than getting actual help. Like where do you feel like that belief comes from this past 8 years, being in pain and keep on trying things that we know just hasn't been working? Like where does that belief come from? Like we can maybe address it that way, but it'd probably be a lot simpler just to be like, okay, have you gotten any coaching? Why not? Basically.
Yep, I've done that.
What happened with that?
Same situation.
Saying about do you know the story of God? I don't know if you're Christian or not, but it's about God feeding the birds. Do you know that story?
I think I do. I probably heard of it before.
Yeah. As far as it goes, it's that God he provides the worms, right? In the sense of he provides them on the planet, but he doesn't drop them directly in their mouths.
Right.
Why he does that?
So you can learn on your own.
Yeah, see, that's good. Now you're asking her, which is better than just like telling her.
Yeah, and
to find the right foods.
Yeah. And also because the opportunity's there, right? It's just
Mhm.
who's willing to take it, right? And
Right.
it's not always the easy fix. And so what I'm kind of wondering is if it was all ready for you and things, are you really taking away the proper knowledge to do it on your own once it's gone? Once you stop.
Right. No. Yeah. No,
You
you're
know?
not. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Why not?
as far as it goes, then did you like anything else about Weight Watchers? Anything else?
So again, like we're sticking more on the Weight Watchers thing. If you're really wanting to belabor this point, which I don't feel like is needed because she's already telling you all these different ways like how it doesn't work. But if we're wanting to really like dig into it, we can just go along the lines of like more like a consequence. So what's going to happen if we just keep on relying on these diet systems to provide us food, and we never actually learn the right ways to keep the weight off and make it sustainable? We don't have to rely on something else. Like what are going to be the consequences of that? Well, I just can't do this or this or this. So if you really wanted to tie it off, but she's already telling you all these different ways of like why it doesn't work. So it doesn't seem like it's needed. So we're going down a rabbit hole that doesn't really need to be, like, we're beating a dead horse at this point.
No, Weight Watchers Nutrisystem is pretty the same.
Right.
Same.
Mm-hmm. Did they provide you with any accountability in a sense, something like that, in terms of Weight Watchers or anything?
No, I mean they do have people that you can.
That's good that you're pointing out like a gap in it. So, but then we need to ask, like, okay, have you gone out and looked for a way to get accountability?
Call whatever, but I didn't get any. No, not really.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So then for you, what do you feel like? We can close the time machine door now. So typically what I see though in these cases when someone is a little bit stuck in terms of the last usually 10 or 15 pounds, right, is that the meals that they're eating, even though they're not eating anything too crazy, they're just not eating a lot or anything or too much junk or anything, and the weight's just stuck on, it's that the meals that they're eating aren't actually structured to optimize their metabolism and hormones to get that working for them, because as they get older, it slows. And it sounds minor, but it can be a big deal though, right? Because your hormonal balance and metabolism are largely affected not just by what you eat daily, but what you're actually eating at each meal and the foods that are combined.
Be careful of Upspeak. And what I mean by that is, especially when you're telling her. So again, we're telling her a lot of stuff, but you can tell her certain things, come across the authority. But if we're going to tell her, talk with conviction. Do not Upspeak at the end, because what it's doing is it makes like it sound like a question when it's not, and it seems like you're seeking rapport, which again is going to lower your status. So it's just something to be aware of. People with like higher status and with authority, their tone drops off at the end, especially when they're speaking about a knowledgeable topic that they know about. It doesn't go up, right? Because it'll just lower your status, and it comes across as a rapport seeking.
Because certain combinations of food can really have an effect on our metabolism and hormones. So it's not just about what we're eating, but also what foods are combined together and at the right times and in the right amounts to really optimize that and get that working for us rather than just restricting. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. So for you, I mean, just to see if what we're doing work for you. Let's say you and I kind of put together like a checklist of exactly what you feel you need to actually help you lose this 15 pounds in this next 2 or so months. What do you feel like you really need in terms of like a plan or support to make sure that you can lose this weight and keep it off for good and be in control of it so it doesn't fluctuate?
I guess a meal plan, although I don't live by myself. I cook. I take care of my mom, and I have my granddaughter here and my son here, but
why do you feel like a meal plan would be important to you then? All right, she said maybe a meal plan. So just get her to expand on what she feels like she needs.
I cook. Actually, since COVID, I've been buying HelloFresh meals. Did you ever hear them?
No.
It's you order whatever you need for, like, I only do every 2 weeks.
Okay.
There's you go on their app. There's a list of meals, and it comes in. Everything's included, like all the fresh stuff, the meat and the vegetables and whatever we need. You cook it yourself.
Okay.
Which is nice, because I don't have to worry about, what am I going to have for dinner tonight? But it's only every other week, three meals each, every other week. So it kind of helps with the meal planning.
And is it helping in terms of the weight loss?
I don't know. I mean, it's healthy food. It's, you get your protein.
Or yeah, but like, are you seeing like results in terms of like weight loss, like while you're on it, is what I'm asking.
Not for me, no.
Okay, so do you feel like there may need to be some small changes so that you can see results?
Why are we minimizing? Do you feel like there might need to be some changes to actually start seeing results rather than small changes? Like, no need to minimize.
In your weight loss?
Yes.
Okay. Because what happens if we don't make any changes, right?
If you stay the same, or you keep gaining weight.
Right. Like most.
But for you personally, like, what would be the impact of that?
People do, right? So then for you, what do you feel like you need in terms of a plan or support or guidance around so that you can lose this weight and keep it off and be in control of it?
I don't know. I guess a meal plan, or that's the only thing I can think of right now.
Why would that kind of be important to you?
Something to be aware of. You say kind of a lot, which is your filler word, but it also makes what you're saying a lot more ambiguous, which again creates more doubt. So if just to be aware of it, take out the kind of.
Just to see what I've been eating that's keeping me from losing weight.
Okay, so just knowledge in that area. Okay.
The knowledge, yeah.
I'm sure you're not a nutritionist, right?
No.
Neither am I. Okay.
Why are you... Like, there's no need to, like, now you're minimizing, like, your status and your knowledge. Like, there's no need for it. Like, you can be self-deprecating on, like, other things, but you don't want to be self-deprecating when it comes to the area of which you're trying to help her. Right? So, like, there's no need to be like, well, I'm not a nutritionist either. So it's like, dude, you're the same level as her. Like, we need to be at a higher level. We're here to help her. Like, we can't be at the same level as her. So, again, there's small things, but we're just like, we're chipping away at our status, and then we're minimizing what actually needs to be done here.
Okay. And do you feel like after you learn that knowledge, you'd be able to take away what works for you so you can do it on your own,
Right.
Rather than maybe just kind of having it like done for you, rather than if we just ship you meals, right? We got to teach you how to fish, right? Not just
right.
fish.
Right.
So okay, so that's the meal side of things, right? And that's an aspect of it, but it's not the full picture usually. So what else do you feel like you need in terms of a plan or support to help you lose this weight?
I guess, I don't know, encouragement. I mean, I know I'm doing the right thing by going to the gym.
Why would that kind of help you? Like encouragement. What do you kind of mean by that?
Okay.
Just, knowing that I don't know. Maybe I don't, maybe I do, but just hearing you can do this, it's not that hard. You keep going, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Oh, that brings us back to like the accountability we were talking about, right? Oh yeah, for sure. Like, she already said she doesn't, like, she bought into the fact that one of the reasons why she hasn't been able to lose this weight is she hasn't been able to keep herself accountable. So I want to really get her to expand on the accountability, put like an accountability frame on her, so that way, again, like, I can position myself as the coach who is here to help her. So like right now, we're still trying to find exactly what she needs, but she's already kind of told you, like, okay, she needs accountability. And it's like, and what do you mean by accountability exactly? And are you actually open to being held accountable? Because some people aren't. Like, why would you? Okay, and that's good to hear. I'm glad we're on the same page because, like, it's really our job as coaches to tell you what you need to hear, not always tell you what you want to hear. So I'm glad you're able to take that accountability. Boom. Now you're a coach who's going to tell her what she needs to hear, not what she wants to hear. So you have more leeway to actually be a little bit more forward in this conversation because she just admitted she needs accountability, and she's already admitted she needs accountability. We just didn't really address it when she did admit it. But if we haven't addressed it then, we want to address it now and put an accountability frame on her that she needs to be held accountable.
Okay. Yeah, but like everyone's different. Why would the coaching help you? Because most people, most unsuccessful people, would rather just do it on their own and spend years trying to do it, right? Why would that kind of help you?
Again, like continuously adding the frame. Yeah, most unsuccessful people don't do this. It just like maybe once in the conversation, but if we use it like at this point like 3-4 times, it's just going to come across like a tactic to just make her very aware she is talking to a salesperson.
Because like I said, I'm not a nutritionist, and if I want to lose, if I'm serious on losing this weight, in 2 months, I need assistance. I need help.
If I'm serious, right? Pick up on that little language right there. If I'm serious, I would just ask, well, when you say if, like, are you actually serious about losing this weight? Right? Just get her to fix her language, because the way she talks to us as salespeople is the way she talks to herself. So if I can start to shift the way that she talks to us as a salesperson, I'm shifting the way that she talks to herself. And then I'm shifting the way that she's actually thinking, because people, they think by talking most time. Okay. So this is like the first time she's fully fleshed all this out, most likely. So I need to start to shift her language, especially if I hear things like, well, if I'm serious, well, are you?
Someone that knows what they're doing.
Yeah, I'm sure Kobe Bryant had someone helping him along the way, right?
Probably.
I'm sure Mike Tyson did too. I think it just got them. So it sounds like you need someone to just supplement the knowledge you already have, because it sounds like you do have a lot of knowledge, right?
Yeah, I do.
Just to supplement that a little, So if you hit a brick wall, you can
minimizing,
kind of get feedback and questions and things. Okay.
Right.
So as far as that goes, because I know that you've already got your exercise routine and stature, but is that exercise routine getting you the results you want, or what's kind of going on with that?
Well, it is making me feel better. I feel energized.
So in like understanding our ideal criteria, we got that she needs a meal plan, she needs accountability, and that she needs coaching. Okay, like those are 3 solid ones. Like we can attack the workout plan if we'd want, but I feel like we have enough. But again, if you feel like you need more, you can definitely go down this route. But oftentimes you're not going to need to. I would just say, like, and as far as like your workout routine, like, would you be open to making some changes just to accelerate the results that we're getting? Like, just get buy-in that she'd be open to making changes with it, and then just move on. Because like right now we're 31 minutes in, and we're still like we're not even in the presentation yet, so we're a little bit behind. So we need to be a lot quicker where we're actually at.
I feel, and like I said, I do see some changes in my shape, and which is what I like. And but I know, going to the gym and not eating right is not going to help you. You have to do both.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm trying to do and what I've been doing. Like I said, every now and then, I'll eat a snack, I'll eat a chocolate because I love chocolate.
That's fine too. And that's fine too. You don't want to be the person eating a celery stick on the 4th of July.
Right, but I found at Trader Joe's, I don't know if you have Trader Joe's. Yeah.
See, now we're off into the weeds.
I love Trader Joe's. Anyway, they have, last week I just bought a box of chocolate turtles that have actual protein and low carb. Them things are darn good. I can't tell the difference between that and the fake stuff.
Okay.
So every now,
turtles.
No, I'm just saying every now and then, if I eat one, at night or something, it curbs my sweet craving.
Okay. Yeah, so it sounds like you implement what you like to eat, and you implement like in moderation, of course, your cravings, so that you don't feel like tapering off like most people do. When they go too strict, that makes sense.
Right.
And then as far as the exercise goes, because you mentioned it's helping you feel better, I'm sure it is, because you're getting yourself moving. It's just a healthy thing to do, exercise, right? Um,
Right.
would it help to maybe take a look at it and see if there's maybe some ways where we can maybe use it to like make small alterations if needed, to really attack those areas of fat where you're trying to lose in? Would that help you?
Minimize.
Yes.
Um, like where are you kind of trying to lose in? Is it like the stomach area or something?
So something that you can do if we want to like insert that the workout plan is the problem, okay, is part of the problem. You can always say, and do you have like, and I know you said you're working out and it's making you feel better, but do you have a specific workout plan that really speeds up your metabolism and really is able to like directly like lose the fat in those tough areas, or do you feel like you might need help with that? I'm only going to want to say it if I clearly know that she doesn't have that. Like, do you have like a specific like workout plan that helps like speed the metabolism and is able to really target those like, hard to lose like fat areas? Or do you feel like you might need help with that? Oh, like I might need help with that. Like why do you feel like you might need help with that? Right. So that's a better way to like insert as far as like if we want to really attack the way that she's working out right now.
Yeah, the stomach and the hip thigh area.
The hip thigh area. Okay, yeah. So something to do that because we could be doing the right. I mean, we could be doing something for 24 hours a day, right? But if it's maybe not the right thing, we're not really going to
Now we're repeating ourselves.
see results versus doing the right thing for an hour a day, right?
Right, right.
If that makes sense. But okay, so there's a nice little checklist. So maybe something tailored in terms of exercise to you and your body, and then also that kind of knowledge around the food, in terms of really getting that to optimize your metabolism, getting that working for you, and then also that just piece of encouragement, and hearing that you can do it, and that kind of coaching aspect to supplement your knowledge. So let's say you actually implement this stuff over the next 2 months, and you don't just spend another 6 months hoping and praying like most people do, right? That something's just going to magically fall out of the sky for them or change. So let's say you implement this stuff, and let's say you actually lose that 15 pounds in the next 2 months. I mean, what would that actually change for you, though?
I would be happy. I would I would be like I said, my clothes will fit better. I can go down maybe another, dress size.
How do you mean your clothes will fit better? Just expand on that.
Just
why would you want to go down another dress size? Do you feel like your clothes right now just aren't fitting the way that you'd want them to? Right, so we just expand that gap in her mind.
Help my what's the word? Confidence.
Okay.
Confidence. I don't know. How do you kind of mean by that?
If I feel good and look good, that builds my confidence.
Okay.
Like
Okay.
So she brought it back to like looking good. So I really want to probe into clothes fitting, because especially when we're talking about like a woman, oftentimes like their outer appearance is just going to affect like their confidence, and like they like to wear like cute things, dresses, things along those lines, typically. Okay. So I would just want to like understand, okay, like, is your clothes not fitting the best way now? Like, what type of impact is that having on you? Why are you wanting to drop a dress size? Like, is there any specific type of clothes like you're wanting to wear that you feel like you just can't really wear right now? Like, what type of clothes are you really looking to wear? Like, get it more tangible, right? Like, oh, like maybe she wants to like drop down to like a 6 dress size so she can start feeling confident wearing sundresses, for example. So now I have like, oh, like, so you feeling confident, wearing the, wearing those sundresses. Like, I guess, like, what does that really do for you, like, personally, to be able to do something like that, right? So then I'm able to get it a lot deeper rather than just keeping it fairly surface level.
And what are you kind of looking to maybe do with that confidence, or like in your day to day?
I don't know. I just want to feel better about myself, you know. Like I said, people say, Donna, you know, how do you do it? You look good, you know, for your age, whatever. You don't look your age, you know. And I get all those compliments. I know I do.
Of course.
Right.
But I have to feel it, and
Yeah,
I have to see it in the mirror, you know.
Yeah. And so you, I mean, actually,
Do you not see it in the mirror right now? See, that's a big one. Like, that's very visual. At this point, when we're getting more of the future pace, I want to get visual. But do you not see it in the mirror right now? Well, how long have you not seen it? Like, what's that actually doing to you every time, like, you look in the mirror and you looking back at you just don't see what you're wanting to see? Okay. So then, like, you being able to drop the weight, like drop that 15 pounds, like actually start wearing those sundresses and wearing the clothes that fit better, and you feel more confident. And that way, when you look in the mirror, like you kind of puff up, like that confidence just like it oozes out of you. Like what does that really do for you personally? Right? You see how that's a lot more like emotionally impactful.
being able to finally achieve that after, I mean, because you've been down a big amount of weight, but finally be able to get that last past that last hurdle of the 15, and being able to feel that confidence that you want and happiness. I mean,
right.
How would that actually make you feel, though?
Well, I mean, that's easy.
And that's a good question. Like, how does it make you feel? Like, typically I'll ask, like, okay, like, what difference would that make? Probe, get something tangible. What would that do for them personally? Get the emotional impact. And then the last one, I'm going to ask them how it feels, but I'm going to paint a vivid picture in their mind. Because really I want to paint a moment in time that encapsulates everything that they're looking to achieve. For example, let's say they're looking for that confidence to look into the mirror so they can get the sundresses that they want and really feel good about themselves, all that good stuff. Okay, so like I would run through it, like what that would do for them personally. So then I'll be like, okay, so if you really picture it in your mind, like you being able to drop that 15 pounds, you being able to wear those sundresses, and in that way, when you go, you look in the mirror, you love what you see looking back at you. At that moment, with that extra confidence, like, how would that actually feel? Like, at that moment. So, like, I painted a picture of her wearing the sundress, her going and looking in the mirror, having more confidence. And at that moment, right, like, it's a lot more vivid. So it's going to just be a lot, like, more powerful of an emotional anchor.
Make me feel good, you know?
Okay. Yeah, and the only reason I ask, is because I'm assuming you're doing it for those kind of reasons, and that's what's motivating you, right? So it can be important to consider.
Oh, I'm definitely doing it for myself. I'm not doing it for anybody else.
Yeah,
I'm doing it for myself.
Yeah, and to not just look at the scale and see that you're however much pounds, right? You're just doing it for all those great reasons. So
right.
For you, though, I mean, kind of on the flip side, though, I've kind of got to ask, though, because
kind of.
Like where you are right now and what you've shared with me, I mean, without us implementing these necessary changes and like you just where you're at right now alone, I mean, how close are you to losing this 15 pounds in the next 2 months and keeping it off?
It's a little confusing. So, and I know what question you're trying to ask. I would change it to how likely are you? So I do have to ask, if nothing does change with just the way that we're eating, the way that we're working out, like how likely is it that you're going to be able to get to the point where it's like you can actually have that confidence and wear those sundresses in the next 2 months if nothing changes? Like, how likely is it? Oh, it's not likely at all. Well, why not? Okay, so then what happens like if nothing changes? Right? There needs to be a little bit of a shift in our tone too, especially when you're talking about more consequences. There needs to be more like empathy, more just more concern in our voice, which is going to pull more of the emotion out. If our emotion doesn't change like at all, then it's just going to be very, very hard to pull that emotion out of her. So we need to have a shift in our tone. That way we can get her to start to shift her emotions.
What do you mean, how close?
Like, as in,
Yeah, she's confusing. If you just change it to how likely are you going to be able to do it in time frame, you'll probably get better responses rather than how close.
You know,
without,
how important it is
without,
to me?
no, no, no. As in,
Oh.
how close are you tangibly to getting there? Like, without implementing these changes on your own.
Oh, I don't foresee it happening unless I know my weight loss doctor had told me, you know, your body, evidently your body likes the weight because it's done
Okay.
losing the weight.
Okay.
But if you want to go back to basic, when you first after the surgery and do your, you know, the shakes and, you know,
Yeah.
your body will probably start losing again if I just continually just drink
Yeah.
shakes
So what
all
I'm
day long.
okay, and are you gonna
That's
do that
going to
when
be
you're 80?
boring.
Are you gonna do that when you're 80? Yeah. So
No, I
Oh, it doesn't sound like you want to do that. Right? She already said, oh, that's going to be boring. That's been a big problem for her the entire time. So I would just kind of like brush that off.
I actually won't care as long as I'm healthy
of
when I'm
course,
that age.
yeah.
You know,
But you're not that age yet, right? So
no.
for you, what is this? What does it kind of look like, though? I mean, if you don't really take a whole.
So she didn't really answer the question. She was kind of going into it, but then she just talked about like her weight loss doctor. So it's like, how likely is it if nothing changes you'll be able to drop the weight in the next 2 months, right? Like get her to actually answer the question.
This now and make these necessary changes, and maybe things just stay the same or get a little bit worse down the line. What does that kind of look like for you?
Kind of.
These are tough questions.
But again, there needs to be like a change in our tone. Like, I guess like what happens if nothing changes then? Like we keep doing what we're doing now for another year, 2 years, 3 years. We never actually get that level of confidence that we're looking for, and we can never actually start wearing the clothes that we're actually looking to wear. Right? You see, like there's a lot more concern, which is going to be pulling more of the emotion out. And it's a really tough question that she needs and she laughed, which releases attention, and we laugh with her, right? So we're helping her release the tension. But no, like we need to like get her to talk about like what's going to happen if nothing changes, because that's really the crux of the entire issue. Like that's what creates that internal tension in her mind that's going to get her to make the change.
I honestly don't know. I just know that I will see
about it. I mean,
yeah.
Good.
Because I only ask not to be pessimistic or anything, but I feel like it's important to maybe think about the kind of consequences of not making the necessary changes that we need to when we have the time to, right? Because it only gets harder. So
it does, and I don't want to see my weight go up because I've worked so hard.
Yeah.
You know,
well, what happened if it did though?
To keep it down.
What does that look like for you if you're kind of still in that same spot of maybe not?
And something to keep in mind as well, especially when we're framing a question, we always want to do it in their best interest, not our best interest. Well, I feel like it's helpful to really understand, right? Rather than, you know, the reason why I ask is because, you know, we know what we're running towards, but the big thing that really helps people run even quicker is like knowing what they're running away from. Right? Because if you put a sprinter on a 100-meter line, they're running towards the goal, they'll run as fast as they can. But do you feel like if there's a line behind them, they'll run faster? Yeah, they would. Why is that? Because they're running for their life. Oh, yeah, for sure. So it's like I do have to ask, like, do you just want the motivation of that 15 pounds you're running towards, or do you also want the motivation of that line behind it so we get to our goal as quick as possible? Oh, like I want both motivation. So then I have to ask, like, what happens if nothing changes? Right? So like I'm getting it it's in their best interest that they answer the question, not our best interest.
Not feeling as like confident as like you want to be, like in your day-to-day life, like 2-3 years from now.
What is that going to make me feel like?
Yeah, what's that going to kind of look like for you?
I mean, I'm still going to like myself. I'm still going to, you know, if I stay the same the way I look now.
Of course, I'm not saying you're in a depression or anything.
No, I'm not. No.
But if we're talking about going from like good to great, like what happens if you never get that level of confidence you're looking for and you can't wear the clothes you're looking to wear? Right? Like get her back on the actual issue. She's trying to like, again, she doesn't want to answer the question because it's an uncomfortable question. Fair enough. But like we just need to ask it in a way to where it just puts her in a bind where basically she has to admit to herself like it's going to be pretty crappy if she doesn't change.
I just want to be healthy, stay healthy, and just lose a little bit more weight.
Yeah.
You know, and firm up. You know, that's why.
See, and she's minimizing it because we've been minimizing it the entire time, and we haven't built the gap in her mind. So this is an upstream issue, as like the answers we're getting right here. So if we were better at like getting to the actual problem, expanding it more, not minimizing ourselves, not, you know, lowering our status, then it's like we're not 95% chance we're not getting this answer right here. But if we do get it, it's like, okay, like, and I'm not questioning like your willingness. It just comes down to, we got to understand like what happens if we don't change, because we haven't changed for the past 8 years. So if this continues and you keep on looking in the mirror, not liking what you have looking back at you, not having that confidence, not being able to wear the actual clothes you're looking to wear, and be real with me. Like a year from now, like how are you actually going to feel? And what do you feel like that day-to-day impact will be every time you look in the mirror, not having that confidence looking back at you? Do you want to keep it that way? Or is there time to change? Why is it time to change though?
I'm going to the gym because I want to firm up, you know.
Yeah. So why now though? Why not just push this down the road like most people do?
Why now?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's important right now.
Okay, why is that?
It might not be important years down the road to me.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay. So then for you, I mean, are you, it sounds like you're willing to start making those necessary changes and doing the things required so you can do this now rather than, you know, waiting until later. Like most
right.
people. Okay. Mm-hmm. So, because no one's going to make you, right? I can't do anything, right?
Right.
But
so for you then, Donna, I mean, that's kind of what I needed to hear.
Okay, so now it looks like we transition into the presentation. So as far as big things to work on with the discovery, just be careful as far as talking at. Let's get them to buy into it. Let's ask questions, get more buy-in from them. Also, being more precise with our questions. How do we get to problems quicker? How do we expand on those problems? Because we're 40 minutes into the conversation and we're just now getting to the presentation. Right now, they should already be signing on the dotted line. Okay, I should be dropping price minute 30. Okay, 10 minutes of objection handling if we need it, and then by minute 45, they're onboarded, good to go. Okay, because what will happen is either one, they're going to run into, oh, I have to do something because they booked out an hour, or number two, you're going to get more think about it, just because like it's such a long conversation, it's so emotionally draining that it's like they can't really make the decision because it's gone on for so long. So those are a couple of key things. Also, making sure we're not minimizing, getting rid of the ambiguous language, I would say are going to be the big key things. So we're just going to skip a bit forward to then after we go ahead and we drop the price to see how it went from there. Okay, now, again, it took like 12 minutes to go ahead and get to the price. If we can cut that down to like 5 to 7 minutes, just be more precise in our actual presentation, that's going to be better, because again, especially the reason why we don't want it to drag out too long is because we want the inner tension to be high, the emotion to be high that they need to make a change, and then we solve it and that emotion's still high like 5-7 minutes, but then when it starts to drag on, they start to tune out, their emotion starts to drop, and then we have a more uphill battle here when we're talking about handling concerns, if there are any.
Mm-hmm.
So as far as that goes, for the nitty gritty of it, for that 12-month time frame for what I mentioned,
12
that
months.
would be, 12 week, 12 months to lose 15. Yeah, so for that 12-week time frame, so that would be at $1,200 over the course of that time frame.
$1,200.
That's correct.
In 2 months.
for 3 months, because we work with you for 3 months. But I mean, you'd be able to lose that 15 within the 2 months. But our minimum that we work with people is 3 months.
You could probably just frame that better. Like instead of like our minimum, just frame it into, yeah, so you'll be able to lose that 15 pounds in those first 2 months. And then there's that extra month just to make sure we have the practices in place to keep it sustainable. Because I mean, I don't want to assume, but do you want to just lose this 15 pounds and then gain it back? Or would you rather have it sustainable? Oh, I'd rather like have it sustainable. Okay, yeah, perfect. And that's why we give you that extra month, just to get all the things in place and teach you the knowledge to keep that weight loss off. Make sense? Yes. So now instead of, oh, that's just our minimum, it's we do it for you. There's a reason we do that, and it's for your best interest. So just a way to frame that better.
Okay. That's a lot of money.
Okay. Is it a lot of money? Is it a lot compared to your goals?
Compared to my goals?
And that's not a bad question, but it's too early. So when you say, like, first we need to clarify, diffuse, and then we can like start to address some beliefs. But if we just go like straight for it, right? We just go straight for the kill, then it's just going to cause them to be a bit defensive, right? Like, oh, like how do you mean it's expensive? Because I don't know what she means by that. Or you can say, well, I guess expensive compared to what? Rather than like just going straight, was it expensive compared to your goals? Right? So we need to set it up. Like, okay, and that's not a problem. But when you say like it's expensive, like how do you mean? Oh, this is right. So it's like I can get like more of a full picture of what the actual objection is.
Well, let's just say I'm not really I'm not like strict daily on my eating habits, and like I do go to the gym a lot, you know.
Yeah.
There's people that I can actually
Now, she's not answering the question. I don't know what she's really talking about right now. It sounds like she's just telling you how she can do it by herself. But just understand right now she's not answering the question. So if we want her to answer the question, we would just ask it again.
You know, if I'm not doing the right thing, although like I said, I haven't asked, you know, so I'm just doing it on my own. So bottom line, it's just, you mean, what is it, $1,200 up front?
Well, not necessarily. There's ways to break it up as well.
I mean, it really depends on what works best for you. Is there any particular reason why you ask? I still need to flush out this objection of what she actually means. I don't want to assume.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. It's just a lot of money.
How do you mean?
Yeah, and it is an investment, you know. Let's say, money aside, though. Let's say I just hand you a duffel bag of cash. Would you do it?
Who wouldn't?
Well, why would you do it, though?
I mean, you'd be surprised. Like, some people don't want to lose that weight. So why would you do it? Right? So it's like, I'm not going to take the, oh, who won it type of thing, right? Because like some people are totally cool just staying the same. But you could do that throughout the entire conversation. So you're just a little bit more like, oh yeah, some people are totally cool just staying the same, you know. So why don't you want to?
That's the question.
Because the money was given to me.
Well, no.
But why actually invest in yourself so you can lose that 15 pounds to gain that confidence? So why actually invest in yourself rather than just like, well, the money was given to me. So we need to shift it to like, why actually invest in yourself?
Not as in that sense, right? Because you're trying to lose the weight. So why would you do it, though?
Why?
See, again, like we're asking the same question, and I assume we're going to get the same answer. We just need to shift like what the question is and be more clear on what we're asking.
Would I take the money?
No. I mean, why would you do the program if you had the money? Like, let's say you had the money. Would you do it?
Would I do it? Yeah, probably.
Why would you do it, though?
If I had the money, I would do it. I would take the chance and spend that money and do it.
why do it though? That's my question. Like,
but why actually invest in yourself to lose the weight rather than just spend it on hookers and blow? Okay, you probably won't say that, but kind of gets to the point. Like, why actually spend the funds to invest in yourself rather than just, blowing it on more of those Trader Joe's, truffles or whatever, right? Like, why actually invest in yourself?
why invest in yourself to lose the weight?
I don't know how else to answer that question.
Like as in like why take the chance and get in if you have the money?
I don't know anybody that's done this program, so I have nothing to
See, like she's like, now this is 2 times that once we actually get her to understand the question we're asking, she skirts away. She doesn't answer the question. So we just need to make sure, is she answering the question that I'm asking?
To, whatever. Compare it to, yeah.
Yeah. That makes sense. So it sounds like you're looking for some certainty in the sense of people who have done it. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you have a computer in front of you right now?
Mm-hmm. Not right now, but in the other room I do.
Can you grab it?
Yeah, I work from home, so hold on a second.
Okay.
Okay, hold on a second. 1 second. I have to open this email. My boss. Hold on a second.
Sure. I'll forgive you this time.
Well, if not, well, I have to hang up. Okay. It's not directed to me. It's to everybody, so I can wait on it. Okay. All right. What do you want me to look up?
Here, I sent you an email. Just look at that.
Oh, that's...
Okay, so now we're sending her things to like go over, which at this point, where we need to start directing the conversation is I need to understand like what she means by it's expensive. And then I need to shift it, her thinking, to not the money, but her commitment to change. That's what this conversation needs to be about. Now, right now, she's just put a couple obstacles in your way, and now we're just trying to like deal with the obstacles, but we're not really dealing with her actual concern. We're just throwing things at the wall and hoping it sticks. Now, as far as like sending them over an email with like stuff to go over, that gives them a pretty easy out of like, okay, let me go through this, and if it makes sense, I'll get back to you. So if you're sending her stuff to go over, like this should be sent beforehand. She should have seen this beforehand if she needs to go over it. But like right now, her seeing other people solve their problems doesn't solve her problem. We need to get her to double down that she needs to commit to actual change. Is she committed to change? And then once we figure out why she's committed to change, we can figure out the how. The how part is easy. The hard part is commitment. That's where we need to start to shift this conversation to. So like right now, it just seems like, okay, let me send her over testimonials and then hopefully this works.
My personal email. So I'm going to have to go into...
Lady Rider.
Yeah, that's my personal. It's not my work. Hold on.
Okay.
I have to go into...
Like right now, we're killing time too. Like we're running up on an hour. Okay. Still nothing.
Just the first thing that came.
No. Earth Echo support?
Okay, she's still looking for an email.
No.
Like we're 5 minutes in.
Text it to me?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
That's what I want you to see.
Yeah, but I don't...
There should be 2. I sent 2 links. Yeah. As far as these are some, just a few client experiences. We worked with, obviously, I just wanted you to see it and just to have it. So
I guess it's the money situation.
Okay. See it and just to have it.
Okay, so we killed 6 minutes with that. And it, like, what help did it actually do?
So as far as it goes, what's kind of your move from here for losing the weight? That's the main question.
I guess it's the money situation.
Okay.
Really.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so from the very, very start, like we just need to handle the concern that she's telling us is a concern.
Yeah, no, and I don't want to take food off your table or anything like that. As far as that goes, do you want to see what it looks like broken up into payments?
No. We need to get her commitment to change first. And then once the commitment to change, we cannot focus on, okay, like what can you do? Or what other ways do we feel like we can come up with the funds? And if, like, so we put it on her. She's the one who has the problem. She's the one who needs to change. We put it on her as far as like, what can she do? Or what ways can she come up with the funds? Then from there, if she can't come up with anything, oh, well, can I make a suggestion? Yes. What most clients will do, if it's purely like a cash flow thing, we have a couple ways that we can actually break it up for it in more like bite-sized chunks. Do you think something like that would help you? Yes, it would help me. I'm the person who is on the same side of the table as she is, and I am helping her after I get her to double down on her commitment to change. If we just start throwing things at the wall, just start like, going payment plans, dropping price, we can do it this way, this way, this way. We're not really addressing the underlying belief that it's expensive. There's a belief that comes with that. So it's not just a purely logistical thing. So if we just try to like throw logistical things at her, like, okay, well, let's split it up. We're not addressing what the actual concern is. So we need to get the commitment to change.
Yes.
Okay, so what that would look like, and I mean, I can.
Situation.
Okay.
Really.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, no, and I don't want to take food off your table or anything like that. As far as that goes, do you want to see what it looks like broken up into payments?
Yes.
Like, do you want to see it versus do you feel like that would help you? Very different.
So what that would look like, and I mean, I'm not really supposed to, but I can break that up into. I can break it up into three, but they would need to add a little bit of interest, so that would look like $500 per month over the course of 3 months.
Okay. Yeah, it's still a lot of money. I mean, I have a lot of responsibility here. Like I said, I'm raising my granddaughter.
So it's like right now she's not in a resourceful state of thinking. So anything we throw at her, like she's not thinking resourcefully. She's just thinking about like how much it costs. We need to focus on her commitment to change. That if it'll actually work for her, like what it would actually do for her to lose the weight, get her to think more resourcefully, and then we can come up with solutions.
Yeah,
taking care of my mother, so it's it's too much. If I was, if I had all that in a bank or whatever, I would possibly do that. But at this time, I it's too much.
Yeah, that's not a problem. As far as that goes, there's one more thing I possibly can do, but I'm not really supposed to. But
see, I'm not really supposed to. I'm not really supposed to. It sounds very salesy, right? Like, so just something to be careful of, that we just don't get caught in the trap of we're just like that salesperson, because it's just going to cause resistance. Like it can come across like, okay, like I'm just telling her things to sell her rather than I'm here to help her get to her goals. Very, very different. Because the way that they view us as a salesperson, if they view us as a salesperson, the value I give is somebody who is here, who is trying to sell them. So no matter what I say, that's the value that it gives. But I can say the exact same thing. But if they view me as somebody who's here to help, then the value I give is I'm someone who's going to help them get to their goals. So we got to be very, very, very aware, especially in objection handling. How do they view us? How are my words coming across? So what's the intent of my words? And if my intent is here to help, then they're going to be a lot more suggestible. If my intent is coming across, I'm here to sell them, then it's going to go in one ear out the other, and they're going to be more resistant.
There's one way that I could get it lowered to about 900 for that 3 months. Would you like to see what that looks like broken up?
I mean, I know you're trying to sell it. I understand. I've been around
right? Now she's like, oh, like I know you're trying to sell it. She very much is aware that you're trying to sell her right now.
Down long enough to know
It's not
you
to
can
sell
probably
it
go
to.
down on prices.
No. It's not to commoditize it at all. It's just for people who feel like it can work for them, because we don't want that to be the barrier of entry for you losing the weight if you've been trying for a while. So, and it's not about me selling it, because I don't make directly any money off directly selling it. It's about you getting into something and making a change so that you can actually start losing this weight. It's not really about me, because I mean, based on our conversation, it sounds like it's still important to you, even though it is just 15 pounds.
Instead of you telling her, get her to tell herself. Oh, and like again, whether you do this, whether you don't do this, like I'm gonna wear the same shoes, I'm gonna drive the same car. But if you don't get the right skills in place to lose this weight, like who does it actually impact? Oh, like it impacts me, right? I want to get them to say that. Like, and I don't want to see that. I don't want to see you fall into that trap that I've seen so many people fall into. So really the biggest thing we need to focus on is our commitment to change. Are you actually committed to change and not staying where you're at? Because if we are, then we can figure out everything else. That's the easy part. The hard part is the commitment to change. Are you committed to change? Yes. Why? Okay. Now that we're committed to change, we can start to negotiate. Okay. But we need that commitment to change first. And we need to get their buy-in, get them to tell themselves rather than us telling them that it's important for them.
And it sounds like at this rate, like with what you're currently doing, I mean, you're kind of at a brick wall. I know you're doing the right practices, but if you're at a brick wall, you're at a brick wall. And
it's like, it doesn't even sound like she's not really buying into what you're saying. She's just kind of like going along with you.
I don't know. I mean, you doing it.
And she's typing. She's not even really paying attention to what you're saying.
On your own, I'm sure you can try that and do it for a while, but realistically, you're going to end up paying for it the same way, but just in time. So for you, I'm just wondering, like, what's kind of the best way for you to lose this weight, though? Like,
so if you say 900 and break that up in threes, that's 300 a month, correct?
I can't break it up into three. I can't. I can. The most I can do on that is 450. I'm not even supposed to do it. I'm not even supposed to give you that really option. The most that we usually ever do is 1,200. I'm just doing it for you because you're saying budgets are a big issue for you. I mean, not big issue. I don't want to make it sound like you don't have money or offend you, but just because it seems like it's tight for you since you're taking care of all those people. But I'm really not supposed to even bring that up. But that's the only thing I can do for that one. I can only do it in times.
Well, can I think about this? Because I really need to get off. It's been an hour now, and I really need to get off.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah. I'm late for an appointment anyway.
Oh, okay.
Sure. Go ahead. You can think about it if you like.
Okay, then it sounds like we only got 2 minutes left, so maybe we set up a follow-up or whatever it is. But yeah, so it seems like that's going to be the end there. So like I said, since it dragged out so long that like we're running up on time, like she's losing like energy, emotion, all these different things. Like it's very hard to keep that to a high level when the call goes on to that long. So like I said, the biggest thing is to really make sure we focus on it in the discovery, being a lot more precise with our questions, getting to problems, making sure we're widening that gap, not minimizing what we're doing, maximize it in their mind. Don't minimize our status. Don't like just minimize like using ambiguous language, all these different things that can cause doubt. That's going to be the biggest thing, I would say. And then when we get to objection handling, just make sure we know what objection we're handling. Right? So it's like clarify more, try to understand more, really understand like where this person's actually coming from rather than assuming, rather than talk at them. Where are they actually coming from? Like have like empathy, like understand where they're coming from and come from a place of truly trying to help this person. Now, I'm not saying just being super passive, right? Because sometimes we need to be a little bit more direct to get people to change, but it comes from a place of I'm here to help you, not to get the sale. And they should feel that. So that's going to be the biggest thing. Let's not handle the objection as far as what we think it is. Not only what are they saying to us, but what are they trying to tell me with this objection? Her saying it's too expensive, there's a belief under that. So I need to handle that belief and shift it to her actually being committed to change to get the confidence to get to the point where she needs to be, lose that extra 15 pounds. Okay. So if you have any questions on this, go ahead, let me know. But if not, then I'll go ahead and we'll chat later. Okay, so that's going to be it for the sales call recording. If you have any questions or if you have biggest takeaways, go ahead and leave them. Also, make sure you subscribe, like, all that fun stuff. But if you want your sales call broken down, check out the link in my bio, and then I'll see you on the next video.